Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who collection update. Oh yes, it's that time of month again where I show you all the various bits of Doctor Who merchandise what I bought in the month of April 2020. And there's quite a bit of stuff actually. There's Big Finish, there's a book, I know, very exciting, just one book. Quite a few graphic novels because Forbidden Planet have had a sale on a load of Doctor Who stuff, so it would be rude not to buy some Doctor Who stuff from there. So yeah, without further ado, that's basically how the video is going to work. I'm going to be showing you some lovely Doctor Who items and just talking about them, just waffling on. So without further ado, let's begin the waffling on of me and Doctor Who merchandise. So kicking off with the items I got from the Forbidden Planet sale, because Forbidden Planet have a wide variety of discounts on a load of stuff, not just Doctor Who, but I had a look on the Doctor Who section and they had quite a few discounts on the Doctor Who comics. So I picked up the Doctor Who Archives, the 10th Doctor Volume 3, which was a collection of IDW comics, what was reprinted in sort of an omnibus version by Titan, showing you the other comics available within the range. So yeah, this is a rather interesting bunch. The artwork's a bit ropey. You've got sort of a very interesting story with the 10th Doctor dressed up like the 4th Doctor and Talent of Weng Chiang with the sort of deerstalker and the cloak, you know, which is all very cool. And you've got the random appearance of the 6th Doctor there. It's all very odd, but you know what, this is IDW for you. You know, you've got the 4th Doctor and Leela there. One comic I'm really excited to read about this is, you know, the 10th Doctor, Donna, Draconians and Ice Warriors, and of course we do have an appearance from good old, if I can find the page, Alpha Centauri. Hey, that's very exciting. So yeah, that does look very interesting. Bunch of stories, you know, Plague Doctor, that does look very cool type of story. Yeah, and then we've got the return of a Shadow Proclamation with Finch there, from School Reunion. Does look rather interesting, to be honest. But yeah, 10th Doctor Volume 2. Continuing with the IDW stuff, we have the 11th Doctor Volume 2. Again, sort of the omnibus version of the 11th Doctor comics. I think this costs about £3, which is very good. Yeah, so this has got a very interesting one. We've got sort of a noir sort of detective story there with sort of Silurians in there. If I can just find the page of the Silurians, that'd be cool. There we go, Silurians. You know, we've got the 11th Doctor and Slovene, very odd, but you know, this is IDW. Anything's possible in the comics, and we've got a sort of chicken Time Lord, which is very odd. But there we go, IDW there. And then we have the return of good old Lady Christina. Who would have thought it, in a comic, with the good old 11th Doctor. Yeah, very odd indeed, but here we are. Here we are. What a time to be alive. Then the last IDW comic, we have the Doctor Who Archives 11th Doctor Volume 3, the final 11th Doctor collection, which is basically the Clara stuff and the 50th anniversary stuff. I've read the first story in this actually, and it's Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, but done a bit better. And obviously, with it being a comic, the budget is limitless. And then we have this nice sort of Wild West story with the 11th Doctor and Oscar Wilde. And of course, we do have sort of flashbacks there to the other Doctors, which is very cool. But what's very interesting is we have this very odd story about the Doctor's birthday, which is just bizarre, to be honest. It's really bizarre. You know, you've just got to spot the two Romanas there and what have you, Perry. It's just a bit odd, you know, it is really odd. You know, especially sort of the ending. Look at that, really weird. But the most bizarre thing within it is this comic at the end, which is sort of a special one where we see the Doctor fall into reality, where Doctor Who is a TV show, but it is very meta, but we actually have the Doctor meeting Matt Smith. It is very strange, as you can see, and the Doctor going to a Doctor Who convention, and the Doctor holding Twin Dilemma. Very odd, and sort of helping save the universe with a fan. There we go, the Doctor at a Doctor Who convention, and of course we have the Doctor meeting Matt Smith. It's all very odd. Continuing with the Forbidden Planet sale items, now they had quite a few of the Titan Doctor Who comic hardbacks for like £2, so I picked up the 8th Doctor one, the Matter of Life and Death, which the artwork does look rather odd. I'm going to be honest, the artwork I'm not too keen on, but you know what, I'm sure it will grow on me when I actually experience the story. So we've got the 8th Doctor, A Matter of Life and Death hardback. Moving on, we have the 9th Doctor comic, Weapons of Past Destruction, which has been a comic I've been very excited about because this was the first 9th Doctor comic, and it's meant to be really good because obviously more 9th Doctor's brilliant. It's a 5-part mini-series exploring about, you know, who will take the Time Lord's place within the universe, who will become the new Lords of time, so it looks like a very interesting comic, and the artwork looks brilliant actually. It does look rather cool, so I look forward to reading that more. Ninth Doctor is always good stuff because, you know, first Doctor, and it's always nice to have. Then the final two sale items I got the 10th Doctor Fountains of Forever, which is volume 3 of the Titan 10th Doctor stuff, because I'm currently reading The Weeping Angel of Mons, which is volume 2, which is very good comic actually, but this continues on because that sort of volume finishes on a cliffhanger, so I thought, you know what, for £2 let's get volume 3 as well. And this links into a classic villain from a very classic story, a very popular classic story. Oh, that's all I'm going to say. And then I picked up volume 4 as well, because again that was about £2, so I thought, you know what, let's pick up volume 4 as well, just so, you know, continue the 10th Doctor Titan stuff. So yeah, very cool stuff as well, so yeah, very exciting. So now moving on to the main sort of graphic novel area, which I'm probably going to focus on more than Titan, and that is of course the Panini Doctor Who magazine graphic novel collections. And I picked up volume 1 of the 10th Doctor comics, The Betrothal of Sontar, which is the first collection of 10th Doctor stories containing Betrothal of Sontar, The Lodger, FAQ, Futurist, Interstellar, Overdrive, Opera of Doom, The Green-Eyed Monster, and the Warkeeper's Crown. Yeah, so this is very cool. This is sort of a series 2 comics. There we've got The Betrothal of Sontar, very cool, it looks very exciting. And it's a very dark comic actually, just look at that kind of stuff. It does look rather sort of gruesome, especially sort of the last panel within the actual comic, but it does look very exciting, this one. And then we've got the sort of The Lodger, the 10th Doctor living with Mickey. So yeah, very interesting, and I'm quite excited to give that one a read actually, because it's quite a short comic, so it'll be quite nice to read that one, 10th Doctor living with Mickey. How very exciting. And then we've got FAQ there, which is very cool. You know, we've got the good old Brigadier in a comic, which looks very exciting. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. You know, 10th Doctor and good old Brigadier. Look at that. How brilliant. So yeah, that's the Betrothal of Sontar. Then we have the 8th Doctor comic, volume 2, The Glorious Dead, which is very exciting, so I can sort of marathon the 8th Doctor comics, which is going to be really cool, because I've finished reading Ground Zero, which is a brilliant selection of comics, and really good actually. Really did enjoy that one. And this features the return of Grace Holloway, if I can get the artwork to match. You've got Grace there, which is all very cool within the actual story, and the return of the Master, and you've got Croton the Cyberman. So yeah, it does look like a very interesting comic, and I cannot wait to start reading this, because the 8th Doctor comics are meant to be some of the best comics Doctor Who magazine have done, and I'm very excited to give that one a read. And you've got a nice little bonus story at the end, giving sort of the backstory to Croton, I believe. I can get it there. There you go, sort of the back story to Croton the Cyberman. So Glorious Dead contains The Fallen, Unnatural, Born Killers, The Road to Hell, Company of Thieves, The Glorious Dead, The Autonomy Bug, and Happy Death Day, and TV action. Very cool. And there you go, there's a little glimpse at some of the artwork. Then we have volume 3 of the 8th Doctor comics, Oblivion, which is one I've been really wanting to get actually, because of a certain comic, because this one contains Obsidious, Beautiful Freak, The Way of All Flesh, Children of the Revolution, which is, if you know your figures, we've got a figure set with the 8th Doctor and Dalek Alpha, Me and My Shadow, Aborus, and Oblivion. So yeah, we've got Testari and the 8th Doctor. So yeah, this is one I've just been really wanting to read, because I really want to experience the Children of the Revolution, so I'm very excited to start reading that one, because it just looks like an epic comic, and it's one of those stories I just want to experience, because it just looks amazing. You know, it just looks very cool, the Children of the Revolution, you know, and of course it does link back to Evil of the Daleks, you know. So yeah, I'm very excited to start reading this selection of 8th Doctor comics. Then the final graphic novel I'm going to show you for this collection update is Emperor of the Daleks. Yes, a 7th Doctor comic with Bernice, and the artwork just looks fantastic. You know, it's a comic I've wanted for a while. You know, it just looks amazing. You know, it looks like a continuous sort of remembrance of the Daleks, the Renegades and the Imperial Daleks. So epic. So this one contains Pure Blood, Flash Black, Emperor of the Daleks, Above the Gods, Final Genesis, Time and Time Again, Cuckoo, and Invited Guests. So we've got the 7th Doctor, Bernice, Davros, Silurian, and a Sontaran. So this is the collected 7th Doctor comic strips, volume 5, from Doctor Who magazine. So yeah, this one just looks absolutely brilliant, and I'm so excited to give this one a read because it just looks so cool, and I'm very excited for it. You know, it just looks very epic, especially Emperor of the Daleks. It just looks so cool, and I can't wait to start reading that. And then we have probably one of the weirdest characters in Doctor Who canon, and that is Absalom Dark. I think very odd character, this weird Dalek Slayer thing. But yeah, and then we've got part 3, or I think, no, part 4 actually is in colour. You know, very, very interesting. We've got this really nice artwork. Look at that. That just looks very cool, doesn't it? Very epic. So yeah, I cannot wait to dive into this comic because it looks brilliant, you know, with the TARDIS flying through the vortex. It does look very interesting, you know. And then we've got the sort of Silurian story there. So yeah, it does look very cool, this one. And then we've got sort of another one there. And then we've got Ace and the third Doctor from Day of the Daleks having a sword fight, and then Nightmare of Eden. So yeah, it does look very interesting, this selection. And then this one kind of reminds me of Ghostlight in a way, the last story, with this sort of set in a sort of house, you know, does give me sort of Ghostlight vibes actually, this one. So yeah, and then we've got behind the scenes of the actual comic. There, Emperor of the Daleks. So before we go on to Big Finish, I'll show you the book I got, which is Doctor Who Star Tales, where we see sort of an anthology release of the 13th Doctor, you know, meeting famous people, because, you know, the Doctor's quite a name dropper, so it's great to have these adventures. I believe it's meant to be quite a nice little book, actually, and it does look like a really good book. So moving on to Big Finish, now, along with Star Tales, I picked up some Big Finish from Word. So first up, we have The Robot, Volume 1, sort of the Liv Chenka sort of spin-off, you know, what ties into Ravenous 2, where we see what Liv did for a year on Caldor, you know, containing 3 stories, which are The Robots of Life, Sentient, and Love Me Not. Yeah, I haven't listened to this, but I thought for 12 quid, I'll give it a go, because, you know, a lot of people said that this was a spin-off too far for Big Finish, but yeah, I'm kind of interested to give this one a go, actually, because, you know, Robots of Death, you know, one of my favourite stories, so it'd be quite interesting to see how this plays out, really. You know, this is a good set of stories, and it's sort of an overlooked release, but yeah, I might review it. Next up, we have the 8th of March, which was on Wordry for 8 quid, so I paid 8 quid for this. You know, it wasn't a release what interested me, but for 8 quid I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. You know, because I believe that this isn't that well regarded. It's quite a mediocre box set. You know, we've got River Song teaming up with Leela, which will be quite an interesting pairing, and I believe that this is sort of the pilot episode to the Paternoster spin-off, which I haven't bought at all. And then we've got Ace and Bernice in a story, and then I believe that this is the first time Big Finish have done or used 2 Osgoods within a release, so it's sort of the Peter Capaldi era unit. But yeah, I haven't heard the greatest things for it, but you know what, I'll leave that for me to decide, really. And then the final thing I got for Wordry, again, I paid 8 quid for, which I thought was a really good price, which is Unit Incursions, where we see River Song in the Unit spin-off, which would be kind of interesting to experience. So yeah, for 8 quid, can't really go wrong, actually, for a, you know, a 4 disc box set. I think it's a 5 disc box set, but you know what, for 8 quid, you know what, can't go wrong. And I believe that this is obviously the last or current unit release we've seen, because obviously the production team's changing over on it, and you know, Andrew Smith's taking charge of it, and they're now adding 2 Osgoods within it. So the next Big Finish items, we have some Companion Chronicles. I picked up the Uncertainty Principle, part of the Zoe memory trilogy, where we see Zoe sort of recovering her memories, which is kind of interesting, because obviously Zoe has a really good memory, you know, that sort of total recall, you know, what you see in sort of the invasion, all that kind of thing, you know, blowing up the computer. And this is part 3 of that trilogy, containing Echoes of Grey, Memory Cheats, and the Uncertainty Principle. Now this story has gone for a bit of mega money because it is out of print, so I've been trying to track it down, because I've seen it on Amazon for like 70-80 quid, and that's a bit ridiculous, really. So I'm really glad that I managed to get it for a good price, and you know, finally get this story. I haven't actually got Echoes of Grey and Memory Cheats yet, and I believe that this sort of trilogy ties into Second Chances as well. Yeah, so I'm very excited to give this one a listen to. I believe that you can listen to this, I believe that it is made, but you can listen to this story regardless, but I'd like to have the other 2 stories for just prior knowledge, really, just to get the full picture, really, just so I can say that I've experienced the full trilogy But yeah, I'm very excited to give Uncertainty Principle a go, because I have been listening to quite a bit and watching quite a bit of Second Doctor stuff actually. And then we have another out of print companion chronicle, House of Cards, by Steve Lyons, where we see the Second Doctor and TARDIS crew go to a space casino. How very exciting. So yeah, very excited to get that companion chronicle, because I do love me some companion chronicles. Very underrated range, and I'm a big advocate of, you know, supporting them, because they are some of Big Finish's hidden gem. So moving on, we have The Lives of Captain Jack Volume 1. Yeah, I've finally got The Lives of Captain Jack Volume 1. I've listened to the one of the stories. I've listened to Wednesday for Beginners, when Big Finish did that live stream back in July, and I really enjoyed it. And this box has been on my list for a while actually, but I've managed to finally get it. Because obviously it deals with Jack after parting of the ways, so it gives a sort of a backstory to that. And then I believe when he first joined the Time Agency in month 25, and then we've got the return of Alonso there. So yeah, it looks like a very interesting set of stories. Now I might do a video sort of overviewing The Lives of Captain Jack, so Volume 1, Volume 2 and Volume 3. So yeah, Lives of Captain Jack. And the final Big Finish box set in physical form, I should say, is Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon. Now obviously we've had a load of tweet-alongs, we had Stolen Earth and Journey's End. Obviously that sort of links into this in a way, because it's Rose trying to get back into our universe. Because obviously this was based off a spin-off Russell T Davies was going to do called Rose Tyler Earth Defense, but this links into Series 4 with all the different realities, and I believe it is quite a bleak box set. It doesn't feature any monsters, it just features all different realities within it, and I'm very excited to give this one a go. Because it's got Clive, and everyone loves Clive. Good old Clive, love Clive. So yeah, I'm very excited to give this one a go, because it'd be interesting to see what I prefer, whether I prefer Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon, or sort of Donna Noble Kidnapped. Because Donna Noble Kidnapped's a lot of fun, really nice fun box set, whereas I believe that this is going to be a very bleak listen. So yeah, Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon, number 1. Yeah, very interesting. So this contains The Endless Night, The Flood, The Ghost Machine, and The Last Party on Earth. So I might review that actually, just to review a few more spin-offs. So that's all the physical Big Finish, because obviously Big Finish have this thing now where they've closed their warehouse, they're not sending CDs out, but Big Finish are still producing CDs and releasing them. You know, you can still pre-order CDs, you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer to get your CD ordered. So I picked up The Cry of the Voltress, the 6th Doctor Flip and Constant story featuring the Ice Warriors. Which I'm definitely going to review. I reviewed Red Dawn, the first Big Finish Ice Warrior story, sort of to build up to that being released. You know, I've just got to figure a way how to review it, because obviously I review the CDs. But you know, if I'm going to review the most recent content, I'm probably going to have to do it a different way. But yeah, I'm definitely going to review Cry of the Voltress, because you know, it was a really good story. I really did enjoy that one. You know, because I love Ice Warriors, and I'm a big Ice Warrior fanboy, so I absolutely loved it. So then we had the release of Susan's War, which is Big Finish's most sold release for 2020, and rightly so, because it was a brilliant box set, and again, I definitely want to review that. You know, it's worth getting just for the first story alone, with Ian and the censor rights. I believe it's the first time the censor rights have been on Big Finish, I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah, it was absolutely beautiful having Ian back. It was a real treat listening to that. It was just, amazing. I loved it. Eddie Robson did a brilliant job with that, and it really expands the censor rights. It was brilliant. I absolutely love that story. It's worth it alone. And then the last story, the Shoreditch invasion, full of nice little surprises. I really did enjoy it. And Susan's War, I will say that obviously this sort of box set spun from a short trip, which I think was All Hands on Deck, which was a really nice little short trip. But you don't need to listen to that short trip to understand Susan's War, because it literally, all that short trip is basically the Time Lord summoning Susan to join the Time War, and that's the ending of the story, really. And then this sort of Susan's War kicks off with Susan, you know, in the TARDIS with Veclin. Which is a very action-packed start, and it basically sort of begins Susan's journey into the Time War. You know, so that's Susan's War, very good release, and I'm definitely going to be reviewing it. So that's the Big Finish. So thank you very much for watching this collection update. If you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever that will be. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.